Well, St. Augustine had flooded roads this morning, and people say the flooding was worse than it usually is. Our Jessica Clark, she's joining us live right now from downtown St. Augustine with the latest. Jess.
Good evening, Anthony. We're on Cordova Street. It is a street that typically floods when we either have a lot of rain or unusually high tide, or how about a new moon on top of all that. So that's what's going on when we have high tide. This morning around 9:30 at high tide, the water was about here, but let me show you on this house, the water actually came up to about this step. And then when cars continued to drive down the street, it made waves and pushed that water up onto the porch. Not just this one, but homes up and down this street. That happens. But boy, is it frustrating for the people who live on this road. So look at the video from earlier this morning, and you can see cars were stalled out. People had to push cars along. It was just really flooded here in St. Augustine. One woman here said she wants just the city to close down the roads when it's flooded like this,
so that they don't cause further damage, because the cars speed down here. Several cars stalled and were floating. One guy actually was backing down and he couldn't stop floating. He was heading into the lake.
So I called the city about this. The city tells me we put barriers up and barricades up at different parts of the street, and that cars just drove around the barriers. The folks here disagree that barriers were put up. Either way, the smart thing to do is to not drive through water when it's this high off the ground. I understand it's hard to know how deep the water is, but if you see it, turn around, find another route if you can. We're live in St. Augustine. Jessica Clark, First Coast News on your side.
There you go, Jess. Good advice.